You are failing us. But the young people are starting to understand your betrayal. The eyes of all future generations are upon you. And if you choose to fail us, I say we will never forgive you.
I'm the CEO, and we focus on data analytics, research, incubating new businesses and new ideas, and finding those sort of ideas that can actually change in a very radical and dramatic way how people are consuming energy, how people get energy, mostly through renewable energy. We focus on 6 technologies: solar, biomass, biogas, geothermal, wind, and mini hydros. And these are the technologies that we're trying to promote because they are cleaner and more efficient. And then, they're more sustainable, and cost a lot less than building the massive grids that we've built so far using, unclean fuels for our utilities. It is important that, government and private sector come up with a PPP model to begin to think about how to finance the sector. Unless the sector is de-risked properly, private sector is not going to want to put in their money because the rate of returns or the risk associated with such investments are too high. I think I take a lot of pride about mainstreaming gender in a lot of the work that we do, such that a lot of companies, private sector, and government have decided to put a gender component
of the region of Assam in India. And my life has recently been altered by the poisonings of the Brahmaputra River.
Hi, good afternoon. First of all, I want to say sorry for what happened to you, and we just have a few questions. I don't know if you can answer for me.
All right, I'm open to any questions.
Okay, thank you. So our first question is, how has the government aided you in their water crisis? Have they done enough?
The government certainly hasn't done enough. The Modi administration has been much more concerned with making themselves look good than they have with actually making a difference in our lives. The Brahmaputra River has been polluted for many years now, but these recent pollutions are so much worse than anything we've experienced in the past. I heard that it's because of some oil drilling, but I'm still not sure. The government hasn't fully informed us of that, nor have they taken enough action to really clean up the water around here.
Okay, thank you. My next question is, how has a lack of access to clean water changed your daily life?
Well, water is an essential part of my life, and the Brahmaputra River was essentially the lifeline for all of the people in the region, especially the women. We clean ourselves in the river, we clean our clothes in the river. And when that river which is already quite polluted, becomes even more polluted by harsher contaminants, it really makes living difficult. I don't know how I'm supposed to take care of my children if the river that I depend on for my life is being poisoned.
Okay. What is the aspect of your life that has been mainly affected?
It's hard to pick just one when there's so many aspects of my life that depend on this river, on it being clean. It shouldn't have taken this for the government to take action on the Brahmaputra River. It really shouldn't have, because it's been affecting my daily life for years now. And because I'm dealing with the effects of it being even more poisoned than usual, I need other people to speak out for me and my fellow countrymen and countrywomen in regards to this issue.
Okay, thank you. The next question is, what do you expect from the Indian government and what do you think you'll get?
I want the Indian government to not only take care of the contaminants that have recently been ruining the river near me, but also the contaminants that existed before then and that have been affecting my livelihood for many years now. As you can see behind me, not only is the river being poisoned by invisible contaminants, it's also being poisoned by contaminants that you can see. If the Indian government were to take more stronger action in regards to this issue by monitoring industrial developments more closely and instigating more cleaning initiatives, I think that things would be a lot better than they are now. I really hope that the government decides to take action sooner rather than later. They've already tried, but their solutions have been more of a band-aid than getting at the root cause of the issue.
Okay, and our last question is, has there been any outbreaks of diseases within the contaminated communities?
In regards to disease, the recent particles have not been causing disease so much as they've been causing other issues. Like it's not viruses, it's just other types of sickness, if that makes sense. But contaminants have caused disease more frequently in the past.
Okay, thank you so much for your time, and I hope everything will get better for you and your community.
Can I just make one last statement?
Yeah, of course.
It's really important for the government to take action on this issue and to get to the root causes of it, because me and the people that live in my state and in my town have been suffering for so many years, and it's only gotten worse given this most recent contaminant. I need help, not just from the government, but also from people willing to pressure the government, because this isn't an issue that just affects everyone. It affects women in particular, and in turn, it affects their children. So it's really important that action is taken, and it's taken soon, ideally yesterday. Thank you so much for interviewing me and hearing my story.
Thank you so much, and I promise we'll do everything in our hands to solve your situation soon.
Have a good night. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
We have far more weather shocks. The cyclones that keep hitting the Philippines and Pacific Islands. The drought in southern Africa and in parts of Latin America, even in California. And we know that parts of the world are suffering terribly. The poorest and most vulnerable are not responsible. We want them to also benefit from climate action that supports them. Those who have developed their economy through fossil fuel, the industrialized world, have to do much, much more. We have to change more rapidly out of fossil fuel and into renewable energy. We have our marching orders.
I'd love to thank ACE for their amazing program. I remember the first time they came to my school and hearing the first lecture. That's, first of all, really engaging for like something that's called a lecture, but it's also how it opened my eyes to a lot of things that I wasn't necessarily thinking about before, even though I identified as someone who cared a lot about the environment. And then when I got involved with ACE outside of my school, I got to do a lot of hands-on activities where I thought about my specific role and how I can change and how I can change the way the climate is moving. It's also a way to get your friends involved and bring what you learned back to your loved ones.
大家好，我的名字叫欧弘毅，我是一名17岁的纯素者和气候活动家。我们每周五都会在街上进行倡议，还有通过线下的演讲的方式提高公众的意识。在中国政府落实巴黎协定之前，我们不会停止我们的气候8克运动。
要捐钱吗？
不是，就只是让大家意识到这个问题。对，
谢谢。炭烤榴莲又香又甜。
做这个行动就是让大家意识到，我们现在这个温度在上升，自然灾害可能会导致资源的更加不均衡。我们现在已经到了一个非常危险的地方，也就是像这是叫丝球效应，也就是在温度和湿度上升到一定的极限的时候，在这个系统里面就会爆发一个。
Mi nombre es Patricia Hualinga, vengo del pueblo quichua de Sarayaco en la Amazonía ecuatoriana. Nuestros pueblos luchan y resisten por la madre tierra, mientras los gobiernos e industrias solo distraen la realidad con soluciones falsas. El cambio climático no es un negocio. Mercados de carbono, red más e ingeniería climática han sido distracciones y negocios para mantener el sistema. Y esto lo decimos porque nosotros, las comunidades de base y los pueblos indígenas del mundo, tenemos las soluciones reales. Desde el pueblo de Sarayaku hasta Standing Rock, de Logonilán a Lancashire, del movimiento de Ende Galende aquí en Alemania, todos luchamos contra la destrucción y por una vida digna. Luchamos por justicia climática.